Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Paul, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a nighttime edition of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on the Bordas & Bordas hotline. Number remains the same. It's 412-575-2600. Steelers took care of business again for the third straight week against teams in their own division. So after going 0-1-1 to start their AFC North schedule, they're now 3-1-1, and they built up some room between themselves and the Ravens. The Browns have fallen into their normal spot, which is the basement, 2-6-1 after they lost to Kansas City today. Bengals had the week off, so they're 5-3. But the Steelers are in a nice position. They come home to a game Thursday against Carolina. Should be a very interesting game. Thursday night football at Heinz Field. But a lot to like from today's game. Number one, we saw James Conner continue to do what he's done. That is, run the football, catch the football, and pick up oncoming blitzers. He's done all of that very well to the point now where people are not even talking about Le'Veon Bell coming in and doing anything but sitting when he does get here. It's nice to have an insurance policy just in case of injury, but that pretty much would be what it would be to start. At least that's what we think. But an even bigger question is, when will Bell ever show up? He has to do so by November the 13th, or he will not be credited with a full year of service, which means, theoretically, the Steelers retain his rights for one more year. And he's rolling the dice a little bit if he goes that far. So still a lot to play out. We'll see what happens. But James Conner, over 1,000 yards from scrimmage this year. He's on pace for over 2,000. Pretty amazing stuff. Already 10 touchdowns in 8 games. This was his first as a receiver in the NFL. He had 9 rushing touchdowns prior to that, but that's the most touchdowns in an 8 game to start a season for the Steelers since 1950. So he's ripping up all sorts of records and doing it behind one of the best offensive lines in football. And boy, are they playing that way. Can't say enough about the surge those guys give, and also, protecting Ben Roethlisberger. The only sack he took today was one that he pretty much took because it was the right thing to do, and they kept the clock running. So Baltimore had no chance. It was a I give up on the play for the betterment of the team kind of sack, and he did it well. So Al Villanueva, left tackle, really silenced Terrell Suggs, who's not the player he once was, but still good enough to get into the backfield quickly. And Villanueva has been unbelievably solid for the last 4 weeks, getting better as this season goes on. And you know what you got with DeCastro and Pouncey and other guys. Ramon Foster, Marcus Gilbert didn't even play today, but Matt Filer steps in once again, just like Chris Hubbard did last year, and before him, B.J. Finney. These guys just all step up when they have to and play very well. A lot to like there on the offense, and Ben Roethlisberger connected with Antonio Brown with his 9th touchdown, a big play to Jesse James for a 50-yard reception, the longest of the Outlaws' career. So that all was good, and then on the defensive side, it gets better and better. Their last 4 games, they've not given up more than 21 points in any of those games. And today, only 1 touchdown allowed on the road at normally a very difficult place for the Steelers defense to play. But they limited them in the red zone, and that was the difference of the game, quite frankly. It was third down conversions, a stark difference to what we saw in the first meeting. The Steelers went only 2 for 12, 17%. Today, they were 10 of 16. Baltimore, on the other hand, could not get it done in the red zone, and therein lies your game. So the Steelers win 23-16. They're now 5-2-1 with a game coming up against Carolina, and then they go to Jacksonville after that. And they, the schedule, it's funny how it works with the NFL schedules. At the beginning of the season, you look at it and you say to yourself, this is a tough schedule. And it is. They still have Drew Brees. And by the way, the Saints beat the Rams for their first loss today. And that offense is tremendous in New Orleans. They still have Tom Brady and the Patriots. But they have Jacksonville, Oakland, and Denver. And at the beginning of the season, I thought those are all going to be 3 tough games. But not so much now. Jacksonville, although down there it's tough to play, the Steelers are going to want a little bit of revenge for what happened last year. Denver and Oakland are just not that good, so all of a sudden it looks better for the Steelers, although their schedule is still tougher than what Cincinnati has. Cincinnati's remaining schedule is easier, and they have the Browns still twice on that schedule. Remember, the last game of the year is Cincinnati here at Heinz Field as well. 412-575-2600, that's the number to call. We'll also be talking about the Penguins, who lost last night 5-0. And tomorrow it's the New Jersey Devils who come to town. It's a good young team led by Taylor Hall, the MVP of the league. And they can do a lot of things from a speed point of view. They may be faster than Toronto even. and Toronto dictated terms to the Penguins. So the Penguins have got to figure out, and we have Josh Yohe as one of our guests tonight on the #1 Cochrane Sports Showdown. So we'll get into a lot of Penguin topics and what they must do now to kind of neutralize some of the speed disadvantage. You know, they created this monster. They got fast real quick, and teams around them now have responded in kind. It is a copycat league like all successful leagues are. And the Penguins are now going to figure out a way to deal with some of these teams that are talented, hungry, and very fast. And Toronto is certainly one of them, especially on the road for whatever reason. They're 6-0 now away from Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. So we have that to talk about. Congratulations to Corey Dickerson, the Pirates. He wins a Gold Glove. First time in his career. Certainly good news for him. Came over here in a trade for Daniel Hudson, and that was one of the best ones Neil Huntington was able to pull off. So something good, also something to ask for more money down the road and whenever that comes to be. But they got to negotiate, I would think, with Corey Dickerson soon. He's also a .300 hitter. So we have a lot to get into. We'll take a break, and when we come back, load up the phone calls, 412-575-2600. You can also tweet me tonight at KDPomp. We'll do it here right now live on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, Pittsburgh CW. The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, putting new roofs on Pittsburgh homes for over 25 years. Call Ireland Contracting at 1-800-NEW-ROOF.